see, look, it's all coming out. It's just that. Let me put this down. It's not working right. That's fourth. There we go, that's first. But it's not going in very well. It's obviously broken. Pieces are, you can see pieces are hanging off of it. And yeah. So we have some issues. I'm here in Wolfsburg, Germany, and now you may not know of this town, but it is a home of Volkswagen. It is the Motorstadt, and we're here to check out the factory and check out the Volkswagen Museum. And the fine folks at the Ritz-Carlton and of course at Volkswagen have enabled us to do that.
Autostadt is the communication platform of the Volkswagen Group. It was opened in the year 2000 together with World Fair Expo Hanover 2000, and it was Volkswagen's contribution to the fair. But it had to be a permanent contribution, and that was the way of creating a dialogue between the Volkswagen Group and the public.
You know, it seems to be like a giant car theme park. Would that be fair? I mean, people come here and they look at the cars in the collection, they pick up new cars, they can visit the different brands. It seems like a really interesting place.
We define ourselves as a theme park devoted to mobility.
Yes.
Mobility in all the sense of the word. Our motto is people, cars, and what moves them, playing with the double sense of the word, moving physically from point A to point B, and moving internally with emotions and input.
This is the old coal power plant of the Wolfsburg plant. So when Wolfsburg was built in 1938, of course they needed the energy supplies, and therefore the power plant was used and is still in use today, even though we do have a second power plant now.
So tell me about the factory here. How big is it? What's built here?
Well, this is the biggest one out of 106 automotive plants that Volkswagen AG runs today. And we have plants throughout the world, but here at the headquarters we produce the Golf sports van, which is a special model mainly for Europe. We have the Touran here and also Tiguan production.
And how many cars do you produce here?
It's about 800,000 units that are being produced here every year. Mm-hmm.
And tell me about the factory. You told me it's huge. I mean, this is like one of the biggest in the world, I think.
Yeah, in kilometers it would be 8 square kilometers, so that means 2 by 4.
Yeah.
And as the plant layouts have been in the 1930s and 40s, everything was built as a stretch. So the car stamping would be on one end of the stretch and the final car would come out on the other end of the stretch. So from point A to point B, it's one straight mile. Nowadays, automotive plants are rather built in circles, and you have the management in the middle so they can access any point real fast. Just like the new plant that we have in the US in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
If you're lucky enough to be German, you can come here to Autostadt to pick up your brand new Volkswagen. And the way it works is quite magnificent and actually quite artistic. The cars are brought to these towers from the factory where an automated machine stores them, then the customer comes, the car is retrieved, and it is delivered across the street. And the whole thing is very poetic and a lot of fun. It's sort of a Disneyland for cars.
You can do a lot of things when you come to the Autostadt. The Autostadt is a place where you have a lot of experiences. You can see our Zeithaus Museum, you can see all the old-timers, you can learn how to drive safely. We have an all-terrain track, we have the car towers, you can see a lot of architecture, you can see art in all of its forms, and we have also learning courses. We have a lot of programs for children, youngsters, and the elderly to learn about any subject, not only devoted to mobility, but cultural subjects in general.
When you first come here, it seems a little haphazardly put together. In fact, thrown together. I mean, what does a Citroën 2CV have to do with a BMW motorcycle, a Ducati, and of course, a Trabi or a Trabant? Well, have you guessed it by now? These are all vehicles that have 2 cylinders, and the exhibition is actually quite easily broken down. There are design icons and there are engine icons. It starts way back there with the Porsche design tractor, which has 1 cylinder and goes all the way to the bottom of this building where you'll find a Bugatti with a 16-cylinder engine. Easy peasy. Cars that are built here, are they shipped only in Europe or do they go to the rest of the world?
No, we distribute them throughout the world, and we make left-hand right-hand drive versions here as well. Mm-hmm.
So if you're buying a Golf in America, is it built here in Wolfsburg?
It depends on the engine.
Okay.
If it is an e-Golf, for instance, which is coming up this winter, it would be built here. If it's an R-Golf, which is the most sporty version with 4-wheel drive and almost 300 horsepower, that's also built here. If it is the Golf or the GTI for the Americas, that is being built in our Mexican plant in Puebla, which is the 2nd largest plant that we have worldwide.
You said how many different variants are made?
310 different models we are making for the world markets, yes.
Think back to the 1950s and the 3 countries that were most synonymous with manufacturing cars back then. This is a Bentley R-Type from 1954. It is of course British and iconic. Over here is something that of course is near and dear to my heart. This is the Cadillac Eldorado Berlitz. I mean, look at those fender flares. Now that is rocket-like. And over here, this is the German contribution to automotive design. And of course the iconic one, the Volkswagen Beetle. This happens to be the 1 millionth Beetle made, and they celebrated by making it hideously ugly with all kinds of diamonds. But we're talking about design icons. Where is the Czech Republic? It's in the parking garage with the Tatra, of course. So if the German customer wants to pick up a car here, how do they go about doing it? Do they go to their dealership and they say, I want to pick it up at the Autostadt?
Exactly.
Okay.
They go to the dealership, customers buy their car somewhere in the country, in whichever dealership there is, and they say, I want to go to the Autostadt and pick up my car. That is a very German tradition. That's something that, for example, in the US would not be conceivable, that someone drives 400 or 500 kilometers to pick up their cars. More than 2 million people come to the Autostadt every year.
So if you're into Volkswagens, this is the place to visit because, oh my God, there is some history here. But next we have an appointment in Bremerhaven where we have to put this Tatra 603 on the boat and get it over to Baltimore. So far, so good. This has been an easy journey. Here we go, on the road again. Here we are, hitting the road again. I do feel a little bit of well, guilt, probably the right word, since we left a little bit of an oil stain on this pristine parking lot in front of the Ritz-Carlton, but for a 45-year-old car, this Tatra just does leave a little bit of oil. And now here we are heading out of Autostadt and back on the Autobahn. Look at the people are taking pictures of us. Let's wave to them, giving us a thumbs up. We get that all the time. That's the cool thing about driving this car. I think it brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. And first and foremost, of course, me, and I hope you as well. So, back on the Autobahn, and hopefully next stop, Bremerhaven, where we have an appointment with a boat. 120 kilometers or 75 miles an hour, Tatra's in heaven. Stop and go traffic, not so much. We gotta make the boat by 5, it's 1:22 right now. We're about 100 kilometers away, and that normally should be doable in, an hour and a half or so. But when the German Autobahn gets bad like this, it gets bad. And the Tatra does not like stop and go traffic, so we're gonna see. I'm hoping this clears up and we can get back to terminal velocity, which is, like I say, around 100 to 120K. Tatra's very happy. And I want to make sure that this old girl is very happy. So I can't go into second, watch. So I gotta actually stop, go into first, and then it'll go into second. But it will not go into second from third. So I'm not sure if that's a synchro issue. All I know is we gotta get out of this traffic if I don't want to burn this clutch. And hopefully it'll be over soon. I don't know. I just don't know. So Google Maps routed us off the highway to gain a few minutes because we have to get to the boat by like 4, and right now we're scheduled to get there at 3:20. And this is like a rally stage, this road. It's really cool. If I were braver, I think I'd really become a much more aggressive driver in this car, but I do not want to figure out just how quickly it snaps oversteer. Oh, there's the highway, look. And it seems to be construction that's causing all the delays. So we're less than 20K away, and there's a big knot in my stomach because I'm hearing noises, I'm feeling vibrations, and I'm like, come on, Tatra, you can make it, you can make it. Just hoping these last, whatever it is, 5 kilometers or so. Hold together, Tatra, you can do it, you can do it. Not much farther, we're gonna make it. We're gonna get you on the boat and get you over to Baltimore. You can do it, girl. So getting the Tatra, getting the old girl to America was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. Imagine this, we arrive at Bremerhaven and the port and the offices of the shipping line close at 4:30 and it's 4 o'clock. And we're driving around with Mr. Bushik, the owner, behind us in this spaghetti maze of roads and millions of cars being shipped around the world. They sent us to a different place. It's going to close pretty soon, so we're going to the other place right now. Hopefully we can find. Možná jsme to přejeli už.
Right there? Oh, good.
Já nevím, daj tam.
Go.
We finally find the right office and there's 15 minutes to spare, and I go into the office and I say, I've got the car here, where do I take it to get on the boat? And they say, do you have your German customs declaration? And I'm like, German customs declaration? I didn't know I needed a German customs declaration. And the guy looks at me, yep, we sent it to you, nothing we can do. And keep in mind that we have to drive back to Prague now because Mr. Bushik has to go back to work the next day. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I am completely screwed. No, na té mapě tam je X, kde to je, podívej se na tu mapu.
Tam udělal nějakou čáru na tu čáru, já to ulici, já jsem si to tam dal do toho, ale...
Ne, je to na levý straně tady někde, podle tomu X, jak tam nakreslil. What do I do? And luckily a guy next to this man overhears him and says, you know what? If you have exact change, we'll actually do it for you. And I go, how much? And he goes, 100 euros. I look in my wallet, 60 euros. Don't have enough money. So I go, will you take dollars? And he goes, only if you have exact change. I go, how much? He does a calculator, $136. I'm like, okay. Look in my wallet and get this. I had 6 20s, a 10, a 5, and a 1. Not 2 1s, not less than 1, but exact change. It was incredible. So that's the boat. Hopefully the Tatra is going on. I got here just in time. They close in 10 minutes. And we found the place. It was a little touch and go because we have to get back to Prague tonight, and that's another 8-hour drive just to go back from here all the way to Prague. And Mr. Bushik was kind enough to follow us, but I can't ask him to have another day off. So we got the car, hopefully, on the boat. We're doing the paperwork. I didn't have euros with me, so they're taking dollars. So far our luck continues to hold, and Prague to Pebble Beach is all steam ahead. Once again, the kindness of strangers, friends, and family saved the day. I gave them the $136. We do the customs declaration. I get in the Tatra, I take it to the right place in the port, I park it, I go to back it up, well, and this is what happens. So, we have good news and we have some bad news. We got the car on the boat, which is the very good news. This thing always breaks, but this delicate shifter finally gave up the ghost. It's it's not working right, and it's definitely broken. The car still shifts, but barely. Look at that, it starts like a top. So now we're gonna have to get it home and hopefully find somebody who can work on a Tatra 603 shifter. See, look, it's all coming out. It's just not. Put this down. It's not working right. That's not. That's fourth. There we go. That's first. But it's not going in very well. It's obviously broken. Pieces are, you can see pieces are hanging off of it. And yeah. So we have some issues. So we have a ticket to ride, but in true Prague to Pebble or bust, the car is a little bust. The shifter's not working, and we're gonna have to figure out how to get it fixed or sorted in Baltimore. So next time I see you, we'll be working on that. At least we got it here, and that's what counts. We'll worry about the second part next time. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. I am so excited to get here and get the Tatra to Bremerhaven. I'll see you across the ocean in Baltimore. Ciao.